Morning, everyone. I'm Kristen Myers, editor-in-chief of ETF.com, here with your Market Minute for Monday, July 28th. So we have a couple of things that are moving the markets today. It's going to be all about trade, earnings, and of course, a Federal Reserve meeting that we have later this week. So let's first start with the news on trade. The United States and the European Union has inked a trade deal setting tariffs for the EU at 15%. Now, this trade deal comes ahead of that August 1st deadline that the White House has set. And for any countries that are going to be negotiating any sort of trade deal going forward, President Trump has essentially said that 15% is going to now be the floor. And any sort of tariff deal could be anywhere from 15% and up higher. Now, when it comes to this trade deal between the United States and the EU, the US does import a lot of furniture, but also alcohol, wine, and spirits from the EU. So we do have a couple of ETFs that are being impacted today in early trading. So let's take a quick look, especially in the retail and alcohol and leisure sector. So first up, let's talk about online, ONLN, the ProShares Online Retail ETF. It is in the green, up about half of a percentage point right now. Then we also have XRT, the Spider S&P Retail ETF. It is in the red, however, just below the flat line. So we might see XRT make some sort of movement a little bit later on in the trading day. Now, when it comes to alcohol, EATZ, EATZ, the Advisor Shares Restaurant ETF, despite that trade deal being inked between the European Union and the United States, we do see EATZ in the red, down about 1.25 percentage point. Now, EATZ does have a lot of alcohol and spirit company holdings as a part of that ETF. Investors right now, however, are kind of looking past a little bit of this trade deal and really are focusing in on earnings and the Fed. So let's talk earnings right now. It's going to be a big week when it comes to tech. We have Meta, Facebook, Microsoft reporting on Wednesday, but also Amazon and Apple. So a lot of major components when it comes to the Magnificent Seven. These are all Magnificent Seven stocks. So let's take a look at MAGs right now. The Round Hill Magnificent Seven ETF, it is rising in advance of those earnings, up about 0.75 percentage point right now. Also have to look at QQQ, the Invesco QQQ Trust, which mirrors the tech-heavy NASDAQ. It is also in the green right now, up nearly 0.5 percentage point as investors are really piling into the tech trade in advance of some of these earnings reports, where a lot of investors are going to be looking to have some sort of answer to the AI question over the last quarter and also going forward. One last thing that we have to talk about, and it is going to be about the Fed and inflation. We are going to be getting an inflation gauge reading out on Thursday, but as I mentioned, the Federal Reserve does have an FOMC meeting this week. It is largely expected that the Fed is going to hold rates steady. However, in advance of that meeting and that decision, we are seeing bond yields on the rise, which means that bond prices are falling. As you remember, yields and prices move in opposite directions of each other. So let's take a look at one of the largest treasury bond ETFs. It is TLT, the iShares 20+ year treasury bond ETF. We do see the 30-year bond yield rising more than the others. And of course, TLT is in the red, down about 0.5 percentage point right now in early trading. But be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to ETF.com as we keep you updated on all things earnings, trade, the Fed, and of course, your investor portfolio.